I love
We're
this
just
casual
into it. We're going for it.
Honestly, love this casual conversation we're having.
Let's
This is
do it.
as opposed to like a big, oh, joining me right now, we have Deborah and Woll. I mean, I'd rather, I want it to be casual. Tayo, is this?
We can start
are we
recording.
recording?
I'm comfortable.
We are recording.
We are amazing.
This is awesome. This is so awesome because we just float into the conversation.
We will always walk together, Kratos. You will always be a part of me. I will always be a part of you.
Deborah, I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
so, because in the first game, you are well aware that you are in fact ashes.
Yes. Well,
So
I am a body, and then I am ashes.
Yes. And
I
then
go
you're
on the whole
spread
adventure
across.
with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in the second game is where Faye makes her first appearance, and so
Yeah.
I'm really curious to know like what is that like the motion capture, like all like what is that like, because the world that we see is vastly different from what you're actually acting out in like the big warehouse with the mocap suit and everything. What's that experience like?
It's bizarre. It's really bizarre because it is a warehouse. I mean, you really do feel like you're just in a big empty void.
Mm-hmm.
And then the really unique thing, and I have nothing to compare it to since this was my first experience, but the really unique thing, as far as I understand about God of War, is that they do no cuts, right? It's one single long shot. So they are very specific about their staging and where you stand and where you turn. And some of that can be challenging, but you look down at the ground and it's covered in tape in different colors for different scenes and different set pieces and where, different characters have to be. And at first I was very intimidated looking at all of that. And luckily I spent my day working with Chris, who is the God of War. And he's so experienced and was very helpful to me and kind of pointing out some tips and how to get into it. And he and I fell into a really easy rhythm kind of right away. But it is bizarre. You're in these weird suits and you've got this gigantic camera that comes around to basically fisheye lens capture your face. So if you thought your nose was big to begin with, when you see it in that picture, you're like, oh no. So you push all vanity aside, which is wonderful. And I think you just key into the other person like you would with any acting scene. Just really make it about that person and connecting with them.
To grieve deeply is to have loved fully.
I saw your face, and again, like my mind, because like I'm a huge True Blood fan, so I immediately thought they stole Jessica's likeness. What's going on here? Somebody needs to tell Bill what's going on.
Yes,
I don't know if he knows that his progeny, is that what they call him? His familiar.
Yes, that's what they called me.
Yeah, is in a video game, and then I saw and then of course I heard your voice. I'm like, that definitely sounds like Deborah.
Yeah.
This is. Hold on. Then I had to pause the game and I went and looked up the IMDb. I was like, oh, okay, cool. All right. They did the right thing. They approached this the right way. So so let's going back to to you working with Chris. How was it like? Again, like he's a veteran. He was in the 2018 game. So what was it like working side by side him in those weird mocap suits?
I mean, and we also had the difficult or seemingly difficult job of sort of instantly needing to fall in love and, project that depth of story about people who have spent years together, had a family together, these kinds of things that come from long, deep, intimate experiences. And we had to, whip it up in an hour or so and work all day and kind of that space. And it takes a huge leap of faith, and it takes trust. And so I think very early on, I knew, this is his game. And, I was coming in to help support the story of Kratos and his son.
Have you nothing to say to your son?
What would you have me say, Faye?
Anything. Let him learn your voice. Let him know you.
And so I really just turned to him and kind of said, I'm here to just fall in love with you today, and that's what we did. We just sort of focused on those feelings and that trust and depth of emotion. And it really was, I'm so pleased to say it was very easy. We fell into a very quick, easy rhythm.
What do you think it is about Kratos that made Faye fall in love with him? Because like honestly, like it's such a like I don't know, I just like vastly different personality. So I'm like I always wonder. I don't know what would be your interpretation of
Sure.
their like meeting and all, you know, how they came to love each other.
She tells that story in the rowboat, which is one of my favorite scenes, is that sort of fairy tale child story that she tells baby Atreus as they're, you know, floating along. And what we get from that is this was not love at first sight.
We nearly took each other's heads off. But he's softened since then.
You know, they did not see each other and immediately connect. They fought. They were wary of one another. You know, I think he was in potentially one of his most rageful states of his, you know, growth. What I think Faye was capable of seeing, potentially from her own experiences and her own adventures, is that all of that anger and that stoicism comes from a place of deep hurt. And I think once she could see that, it potentially allowed her more patience. From the writing that they gave me for this game, it felt like what Faye had cultivated or found in her life was a lot of patience and empathy. And I think in meeting Kratos, while initially it was probably loggerheads, discovering that all of that came from this deep place of pain and regret and loss, and wanting to give him space to experience that and heal from that, actually required love and patience from her.
We are not who we were. We must be better.
So I think probably that was part of what attracted them as well, was that they were kind of exactly what the other one needed in that moment.
I look at Kratos as like he's a wounded animal, you know.
Yeah.
He's a wounded animal that's also wounded others severely.
Well, but that's it, right? I mean, a scared, hurt animal is the most dangerous one, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it requires a very special, very patient kind of person, very empathetic person, to sort of put themselves at risk in order to, you know, sort of move around that initial fear, anger instinct within that wounded animal.
Approach slowly. It's okay, little one. We want to help.
Well, Deborah and Woll, I want to thank you for meeting with us, and honestly, I hope to see you in another game.
I hope so too. It'd be so cool.
I'll see you on the big and small screen for sure.
Yeah.
So thank you for taking the time to actually talk to us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. This was a blast.
Atreus is our future. Keep him safe, Kratos. Protect our son.